Hi, I'm Patty Henderson. I'm a certified Iyengar yoga teacher, and I'm the owner and operator of Half Moon Yoga Studio in Medicine Hat. I do Iyengar yoga. Iyengar yoga was started by BKS Iyengar back 70 years ago. He developed a form of yoga based on alignment. And sometimes we use props to get into our postures in order to keep that alignment. I started yoga in my late 30s. Before I started doing yoga, I was an at-home mom raising 3 children. A very good friend of mine brought me to my first Iyengar yoga class. She was coming to the class for pain management. She'd been in a car accident, and she asked me if I'd like to join her to come into the class, and so I came. And I absolutely loved it, and it was actually in this studio, my first class. I practiced yoga for approximately 15 years before I started going into the teacher training. I decided to do teacher training just to deepen my practice, gain more knowledge within the Iyengar system. What kept me coming back was the curiosity that I gained after the first class. I was very curious about how I was able to isolate muscles, isolate body parts, and the mindfulness that was taught and that I gained through the yoga postures. Teacher training entails a lot of training with regard to philosophy, anatomy, learning the postures inside and out. Each level has its own syllabus, and so the Intro 1-2 syllabus has approximately 72 postures on it that you need to learn inside and out. You need to be able to see safety in the individual that you're teaching, but you also need to be able to do the posture safely within your own body. When I'm in teacher training, definitely you're practicing every day. You're preparing for your assessment, which is a 2-hour time to practice. So you're learning 72 postures in your own body as well as learning to see in other people's body. My biggest challenge, I think, was that I didn't understand the depth that I'd have to dig within myself to really finish the teacher training. It's an extremely difficult process, learning all of the anatomy and having to do all of those postures and do the practice every day. You can't really waver. You really need to make sure that you're preparing yourself daily for the end result, which is your assessment. I purchased the studio in the summer of 2011, right after I started my certification. My Iyengar teacher, a teacher senior to me, was the owner of this studio. And after I decided to go into the teacher training, she decided to move to Fernie. So I either would purchase the studio or have to find somewhere else to teach. I didn't want to see all of the students stranded in this studio, so I decided I would just purchase the studio, continue on with my certification, and start teaching. The length of the teacher training depends on the individual, but for most people it takes at least 3 years. For myself it took 4. I took a longer time to do my teacher training just because I wasn't really ready to go through the assessment. There's a lot to learn in teacher training, and it's basically, however long it takes you to be ready. My life has changed considerably. Physically, for sure. I am in better shape now at the age of 57 than I've ever been in my entire life. But it has also helped me throughout life. It's helped me to ground myself. It's helped me in problem solving. It's helped with anxiety. It's helped just to keep me centered. My favorite part about being a teacher is learning from my students. Every single time I come to a class and start to teach students, it is very humbling for me to understand that everybody is different and everyone sees things differently. So every body is different. So when I'm teaching a posture, I have to look individually at every student and understand what's going on with them individually. And it's a huge learning curve for me. My yoga education is continuing all of the time. When I teach my students, I'm learning from them. When I prep for my classes, I'm educating myself, I'm reading, I'm doing all of that. I may continue to go up to higher levels in certification. I'm not sure. We'll just see what happens.